Week 11, lesson 7. So we're going to be solving trigonometric equations. Okay, so just like in any other equation that you ever want to solve, you're trying to solve for the unknown. And just like with other equations that you solve, sometimes you'll get an extraneous solution, meaning you may do all the math beautifully, gorgeous mathematics, but then when you try the answer that you get back in the original problem, it just doesn't work. So you're going to want to make sure to check your answers. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, so we are solving for x, okay, which makes total sense, right? We want to know which angle works. All right, and it has to be between 0 and 2 pi. 0 is included, but 2 pi is not. Okay, so to solve this problem, I'm going to divide both sides of this equation by 4 and get sine squared x equals 1/4. And then I'm going to take the square root of both sides and get plus or minus 1/2. Okay, don't forget the plus or minus, or you end up only getting 2 answers when this problem actually has 4. All right, so I'm looking for all the spots on the unit circle, right, within one rotation, where I have a sign value of either positive 1/2, which happens here and here, or negative 1/2, which happens here and here. So again, hopefully you have your unit circle nearby. This one is pi over 6. This one is 5 pi over 6. This one is 7 pi over 6. And the last one is 11 pi over 6. And if you plug those back in and try them, all 4 of them work. Okay, so the next example, again, this time our x's are between 0 and 2 pi. The difference this time is that 2 pi is included and 0 is not. Okay, so to solve this one, because of the square, right? Because of the square, this is actually going to act like a quadratic, and it factors. It factors to be 2 cosine x minus 1 times cosine x minus 2. And if I set each factor equal to 0, I'll get cosine x equals 1/2 and cosine x equals 2. Now here's a perfect example of an extraneous solution. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just impossible for the cosine value to be anything greater than 1. So this is extraneous. And then here, the cosine is equal to 1/2 in 2 quadrants. It's positive in this quadrant and this quadrant. The one up top is pi over 3. The one down below in quadrant 4 is 5 pi over 3. All right, so this should be one of the fairly easy ones. It should look a lot like, I don't know, maybe example number 1. We are within one rotation about the unit circle. 0 is included, but 2 pi is not. So I'm going to divide this entire equation by 2. Cosine of x is equal to rad 3 over 2. That happens in 2 quadrants. It happens in the first. It also happens in the fourth. The one in the first quadrant is pi over 6. The one in the fourth is 11 pi over 6. All right, for this example, again, one rotation about the circle, 0 is included, 2 pi is not. I'm going to move this 1 to the other side, giving me 2 cosine squared x equals 1. Next, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, giving me cosine squared of x equals 1/2. Next, I'm going to take the square root of both sides, so I get cosine x equals plus or minus 1 over rad 2. And if you simplify that, right, by rationalizing, you get rad 2 over 2. Now, because of the plus or minus, that means I'm going to have an answer in each quadrant. Okay, and the reason is that cosine is positive here and here, and cosine is negative here and here. So there's 4 answers to this problem. The one in the first quadrant is pi over 4. The one in the second quadrant is 3 pi over 4. The one in the third quadrant, 5 pi over 4, and the one in the fourth quadrant, 7 pi over 4. Okay, so for this one, notice that we are in one rotation about the unit circle. Oh, sorry about that. There we go, one rotation about the unit circle. 0 is included, but 2 pi is not. Okay, so you have to kind of think about, I'm looking for an angle. In fact, I'm looking for 2. And the reason I'm looking for 2 is because the cosine is positive in 2 separate quadrants. It's positive in the first and it's positive in the fourth. So when you do the calculator part, which is to hit second cosine of that decimal, you will get x is equal to 0.25. So that's the one that's here in the first quadrant. And then to get the one that's in the fourth quadrant, you have to do 2 pi minus the reference angle. Okay, so the reference angle, right, that's what this is, minus 0.25, should give you the other angle down here, which is 6.03.